Now,
body swinging. Santa Claus was never a damn white man, and he wasn't breaking and entering through your damn chimney. And furthermore, Santa Claus ain't even real. Show me the oppressor that has ever broken into your house and didn't leave it damaged worse than it was before. So the truth is this: so while we was all taught the very same thing, that Santa Claus was sliding down chimneys and the gifting spirit.
I'm telling you, it's precepts of man, traditions of man. Because Saint Nicholas was a real person. He was a black man that wasn't trying to push any paganism as per the supernatural spirit. But yeah, Santa Claus there, that's made up shit. It goes back to paganism.
This white man never gave anything, but he stole something. He stole the identity of a black man by the name of Saint Nicholas. This brother right here by the name of Saint Nicholas during the 4th century, who would seek to help out the poor of his people. He became widely respected and was honored on December 6th, and you know what they called it? Santa Claus. Sound pretty close, don't it? They tried to bury this history under the snow, but as always, the truth prevails. Black people should respectfully put down this holiday known as Christmas because it is full of lies that was intended for us. The slaves could never know who orchestrated the removal of our history because it might influence the slaves to not worship this oppressor anymore if we knew. Damn this Christmas tree and this holiday. Santa Claus, listen, I just want to ruin your Christmas respectfully. Santa Claus, this guy right here, that's a whitewashed image. Sorry to tell you, but Santa Claus not white. One word, whitewashed. Santa Claus ain't white. Flying reindeers do not exist. But you shouldn't be surprised because like all whitewashed images, here's the real Santa Claus. Your eyes ain't deceiving you. That's a black man. His name is Saint Nicholas. The real Santa Claus, which was stolen, came from the backstory of Saint Nicholas. Damn the backstory of that fool in the North Pole, you understand? Since when has your oppressor ever showed up and came down your chimney to provide aid to your struggle? It's never happened. But this brother, Saint Nicholas, his backstory absolutely shits on that Santa Claus. So the story goes that this young child, Saint Nicholas, had inherited a large sum of money, a large sum of wealth, you understand, from the death of his parents during this epidemic when he was just a young child. Saint Nicholas, once again a black man, listen, he inherited this wealth, and unlike, you understand, what we raised underneath the culture and society of America, this man had inherited all of this wealth, right? You understand? And instead of, spending it on all types of luxurious things, listen, he decided to take this inherited money from the death of his parents, right? And he decided to give it to the poor. This is a man that was raised underneath the scriptures and the records that's recorded.
So Saint Nicholas was actually a real person that was a black man that had no intent to spread paganism and what this Esau made his image to be like today, a so-called white man that is a pedophile and sets up Nimrod and celebrates Nimrod along with the other gods that have been incorporated unto this day to the day of Christmas. False. Also, the name alone, Christmas, isn't wicked. It just means a Christ mass, a mass of Yahushua, the anointed, gathered. Once again, going into witchcraft backwards is that new speak, which is witchcraft.
Inside of that Bible, and he said, man, I'm gonna sell what it is that I have, right, and I'm gonna give it to the poor. He was raised underneath the scriptures that's recorded inside of that Bible.
Matthew 9-21, give all you have, right? It says, Nicholas used his whole inheritance to assist the needy and sick and the suffering. He was made the bishop of Myra while still a young man. The high office of Nicholas at such a young age speaks to the dominant role played by black Anatolians and Africans in creating the church as we know it today. Nicholas' parents died in an epidemic while Nicholas was still young. Being a devout Christian, he followed the words of Yahushua to sell what you own and give.
And here go the proof right here. It say what? That he was his whole inheritance to assist who? You understand? The needy, the sick, and the suffering. And listen, the difference is this. We ain't talking about no damn naughty list. We talking about real black people who was suffering, that St. Nicholas noticed was suffering. The poor of his people, the starving of his people, the people that need help. We ain't talking about, you understand, the rich feeding the rich. We talking about assisting our brothers, man, our sisters, our children. That's what St. Nicholas did. You understand? Santa Claus today, that is not the Santa Claus you were learning about today. That's a whitewashed image taking away the credit from a real black man. The whole time St. Nicholas was on some shit like, man, I done came into some good fortune. I'm not gonna be selfish. I'm gonna go feed the needy. I'm gonna go clothe, you understand, the free. And I'm gonna go help out my people. You understand? Commander J. Han and the ISUPK, we just did one hell of a clothing drive out there in New York City, man, to help out the immigrant crisis, man. You understand? St. Nicholas, that's what he did. But today you learning about some Santa Claus coming down your chimney. You ain't learning about St. Nicholas. You ain't learning about a black man who aided, you understand, the suffering of his people. That's what I'm telling you, his people. So the reality is this. Ask yourself something. Is Santa Claus giving you gifts? Or are you being robbed and spoiled? And you got to turn around and work harder than the damn sun. 12, 14, 16-hour shifts. Bus to bus, standstill traffic, standing in lines. All that just to tell your children a lie. And give the credit to some white man coming down your chimney, a.k.a. breaking and entering. Just like you was lied to. Ask yourself that question. Christmas goes against God, and God don't follow no Christmas. And if you black, Latino, Native American, Indian, you're not supposed to be celebrating no Christmas. That's according to the Bible. For the ones that claim to just, love God. Christmas is a holiday that invites a white man to come through your chimney to some warm cookies and milk made and prepped by your dearly beloved wife, who never bakes you cookies with a warm glass of milk and a nice cozy fire. It is a holiday built around lies, flying reindeers, and a 400-pound homosexual breaking and entering into your house. We are going to dissect this wicked, evil holiday, where it came from, and who is actually being worshipped. It is not the celebration of Christ, nor has anything to do with him. But however, it does shine a light on the continuous whitewashing history of our oppressor. Santa Claus comes from a black man known as St. Nicholas, who lived around the 4th century in what is now modern-day Turkey. The images we see today was created in the late 1800s by Thomas Nash, a political cartoonist. This whitewashed image became popular in the United States in the 19th century due to the significant influence of the 1823 poem titled A Visit from St. Nicholas, which we know today as The Night Before Christmas. This image was pushed and reinforced through songs, radio, television, children's books, family Christmas traditions, films, and all sorts of advertisement. The term Santa Claus, which was a phonetic derivation of Sinterklaas in the Dutch, which was anglicized into Santa Claus. St. Nicholas was actually a black man who would go out the night before his festival on December 4th and bring gifts to the sick and the poor. Of course, his image was whitewashed, expounding on the lies and deception of the colonizer that.
And of course, it's no coincidence, right? Esau even took that. He even took Halloween's Day, which really wasn't even anything pagan when it was first coming up with. It was Sam Hain's Day, and it had nothing to do with Halloween's Day. Halloween was something that the papacy was doing. I think it was Pope Gregory IV. He was actually trying to incorporate it to make those Gaelics that were celebrating Sam Hain depart from that and confirm unto the Reformation, the papacy's Christian Reformation. The vassal states of the Vatican, because around that time the Vatican was calling all the shots. That's why King James had to make sure he wasn't roughing his feathers too much with the Vatican papacy. At that point, the papacy was Edomite Satanists, Esau, the Borgias, around the early 1300s. That papacy was Esau took. Instead of just completely removing it, he took it and slowly changed what the true meaning of the Bible and those Halloween's days was.
Rules over God's people, the so-called blacks, natives, and Hispanics. Santa Claus today, and what we know him to be, the origins of him, he is not a Caucasian man. Slave owners would use Christmas as a way to manipulate the slaves by offering us alcohol and allowing the slaves to have a good time, in an attempt to increase the bond of the slave and the owner, to subdue the will to revolt and flee, and easing our mind from remembering in just a few days we would have our families taken from us on New Year's Day. Shalom, Israel. Slave owners would use Christmas
to become holy. For 400 years in this empire, we worship the religions of this society. And all those those holidays that they have are holidays that have poisoned us from serving the Lord. Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving.
Once again, Jeremiah 10, 2-5, and Amos 5:21. I despise your feast days. Learn not the ways of the heathen.
Easter, Valentine's Day. These are all days that you worship yourself. All days that you glorify yourself. When the Lord gave us days to glorify him. And why is it so important that he be glorified and not us? Because you don't know the first thing about human management on this planet. You don't know how to slow your heart, speed it up. You don't know how to grow taller, shorter, nothing. God knows how to do that. God knows how to fix and direct your life to become holy.
Black bodies swinging from trees began far before the 1600s. You never asked yourself, why do they decorate this Christmas tree with silver and gold and ornaments? Why? Well, our oppressors surely ain't gonna tell the truth, so I'll tell you where it came from. The original roots of this tree, those Christmas ornaments used to be the heads of slaves swinging from the trees. So let's go back in history. During the Babylonian Empire, an evil king by the name of Nimrod once ruled. His mother or wife, which some documentation claims, would say to the people that he lived on inside of this tree, and you had to pay tribute to this tree of gold and silver and gifts underneath this tree. And if you did not pay tribute to this tree, your head would be cut off and become the bright blood red ornament hanging from this tree. In the Bible, in Jeremiah chapter 10, it warns us of this holiday known as Christmas. What do you think Jeremiah was even talking about? The Bible says the root of all evil is the love of money, what you're willing to do to achieve this comfortability that wealth can bring you. So this wicked heathen loved money and wealth so much that she was willing to persecute and slay the heads of black mothers and fathers and children if you did not have enough to pay tribute. So don't be surprised when you see America keeping this custom and tradition. How do you think America was even made? From the violence and greed committed against the slaves. So of course they would celebrate Christmas. Black bodies swing.
So I'm pretty much almost done. Krampus, partner of Saint Nick or Santa Claus, is a half goat, half demon. We went into that. There's a photo. In some cases, Krampus is said to eat children and carry them away in a basket to have sacrifice. Krampus is a counterpart of Santa, who is angelic, holy. With good comes bad, with light comes dark. Saint Nick, the light, and Krampus, the dark. The black and white checkered floor represents light and dark. Yeah, Freemason reached that. Rearranging the name Santa, you will have the name Satan. Also, Santa Claus' nickname is Old Nick, which means the devil. Beelzebub's Satan. Definition there. They show you it there. Used as a name of the devil. There's the old Nick and Krampus. Once again, as an angel of light to deceive you, your children. And here's a photo of we're speaking on Christmas though, one of the most celebrated holidays on earth based on religious traditions. This is non-biblical. Celebration is completely pagan in nature. This is Jeremiah 7 verse 18 here. The children gathered wood in the father's kindled the fire, and the woman kneaded the dough to make cakes to the queen of heaven. That's what it goes back to. And to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they might provoke me to anger. That they may provoke me to anger. Do they provoke me to anger, says the Lord? Do they not provoke themselves to the confusion of their own faces? And that's exactly what I saw each time these Israelites are gathered in wickedness to complete their wickedness. Yeah, in verse 8 it mentions the three wise men. That has nothing to do with the scriptures. It just only mentions in verse Luke 2 and 8. It's the point. And there were in the country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. So yeah, those are just shepherds. It doesn't mention how many of them there were. So once again, legend of Krampus. Villagers of old believed that Krampus and his Persistent army of ill-tempered elves roamed the Tyrolean mountains of the Alps, causing overall mayhem. The elves took particular delight in whipping lazy folks, unruly youngsters, and drunks. Sometimes Krampus abducted miscreants altogether. Parents scared disobedient kids into better behavior by warning them that Krampus was coming for them. As the centuries passed, Roman Christianity supplemented paganism, and a new legend bloomed. The kind, benevolent Saint Nicholas, now known as Santa Claus. Yet in the Tyrol, isolated villagers held onto their pagan myths, and nasty old Krampus didn't disappear. Instead, locals gave Krampus a new supporting role, now considering Krampus Saint Nick's sidekick. So yeah, it's all just a bunch of confusion and nothing paganism about this day. Once again, goes back to Nimrod here. The photo of ancient Nimrod of ancient Babylon, born December 25th. And yeah, the Winter's Festival, Saturnalia, Mithra, Nimrod, Tammuz. December 25th, birthday of the sun god. Yeah, those are all the same gods, just different name. Saturn, Nimrod, Mithra, Tammuz, they're all the same god. There's an ancient photo of it. They got the Babylonian. It's with the trees there. Just proving it to you once again. I'm not making this up. This is literally a hieroglyphic that exists. It's showing you the tree there with the star on top of it. It represented Nimrod though in that case. There's another photo there. Someone decided to incorporate Saint Nicholas, which was a real person, with into this day called Christmas. Some more photos there. The evolution of Santa Claus. So yeah, Nimrod, and it even goes back to Santa Claus. Really is also bald too. Then Osiris, then Odin, then next was Nicholas. Next was Sinterklaas. Now Santa Claus. which now is just represents not even called Saint Nicholas. It's called Santa Claus, which is where Santa goes back to Satan. So it's already telling you worship Satan now. Now, when you get to this point now, it's telling you it's Satan, which is the biblical name of the actual one and only top demon on the left hand, Satan. So just showing you that now at this point Esau is just exposing his horns, because this is which is spiritual, because it is his last, and this is last power seat of rulership he's gonna be in. So of course, spirit naturally he's gonna reveal himself. This one photo here, a life called Christ Xmas, who changed the truth of God into what Romans 1:25 and worship and serve the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Colossians 2:8. Yeah, Colossians 2:8. Let's go to that. This is Colossians 2 in the ESB, verse 8. See to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirits of the world, and not according to a Mashiach. For in him, Yahushua, the whole fullness of deity dwells bodily, and you have been filled in him, who is the head of all rule and authority. God. Okay. The original gifts were slaves, Joel 3:3, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlots, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Going back to the new hires day, what I just mentioned earlier. So we'll probably go into that soon. Going into exposing the New Year's Day, which for the slaves for Judah there primarily was even worse than Christmas. Both are just as bad, but for them personally, because of the term New Hires Day. Christmas is idolatry. Again, about Jeremiah 10:3-5. This is an article. Once again, this speak briefly on that New Year's, as far as how off it is. The slaves dread New Year's Day the worst. The grim history of which goes back to Janus, the Roman god of new beginnings. The Roman goddess, I think, of new beginnings as well. So just showing you how it's off. Here's another photo here. Dear Christians, our family would like to thank you for continuing all of our holiday traditions. Our Xmas tree reefs, that's called the reefs, the circle, the thing that represents vagina, Easter bunny and eggs, still honors your pagan gods, all Ishtar and Tammuz. Yeah, Baal is just the same as Nimrod. So here's a photo of it. This photo of this, you can screenshot this if you want, like the photo here. So around 2000 BC, you got Babylon, Nimrod, that's where you get Nimrod. Then you get Osiris, that's what the Egyptians called him, 600 BC. Persians, it's around 600 BC, it was called Bel. Greeks, it's 300 BC, they called him Zeus. Then the Romans came, they called him Baal. Then the Renaissance came, they called him Jehovah. Modern today, 1700 AD to 1700 AD, they call Molech. It's really that Molech's been around. It's not. That one's pretty off. Yeah, Nimrod's been around Molech has been around. It's mentioned. Molech's mentioned in the scriptures. King father. Nimrod is the father. Ishtar is the wife. Which the Babylonians called her Ishtar, the Egyptians called her Isis, the Persians called her Inanna. I think this could be off. I don't know, but the Greeks called her Semiramis, the Romans called her Diana, and in Renaissance time, around 1300 AD, they called her Virgin Mary. Around 1700 AD, they got Columbia. That's where you get the Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty represents Ishtar, which is spiritual, because recently you had just shows you how the Lord ain't with this wicked holy day. Recently you had this replica of the Statue of Liberty in Brazil fell earlier this week. That was last week. There's no coincidence, but a warning sign to Babylon. This was in Brazil. Earlier, I think it was last week. Yeah, and that's Colombia. That's where, once again, that goes back to Ishtar. Statue of Liberty represents Ishtar, Isis, Semiramis, Diana. And then the son, which would be Nimrod reborn, was Tammuz. The Babylonians called him, the Egyptians called him Horus, Persians called him Mithra, Greeks called him Bacchus, Romans called him Serapis, in the Renaissance called him Isis, and modern day today Jesus. So let's read about something about Nimrod, going back to the father of that dude Horus. 200 years after the flood, Nimrod was the first king who ruled over all the people of the earth. He deemed himself as God and built the Tower of Babel to reach into heaven to try to kill God by alchemy, but God split his nation into many nations. Nimrod's kingdom fell, but each nation left still worshiping Nimrod, his wife, and his son, but under different names, which are still being worshipped till today. Oh, just proving you that the Tower of Babel happened. That's why you have the same God by all these names. She was Nimrod's wife. So now let's go into Isis, Nimrod's wife. After his death, she gave birth to Tammuz, who she claimed was Nimrod reborn by the miracle of a virgin birth, and from a fertility ritual she performed using eggs and rabbits. She also stated that Nimrod's spirit lived inside of pine trees, which you were required to bring into your home and worship it once a year, which is why you bowed to get your presents. Going back to Jeremiah 7:19. Now let's go into Tammuz. Tammuz was born on December 25th and claimed to have the power of resurrection through the power of the ruling elites of the world. The latest being the Vatican. His image, though it has changed, has managed to replace the true image in the name of the Messiah in the Bible, Holy Bible, who is named Yahushua and is of Negro descent. Revelation 1:13. Yeah, his image changed, though it had has changed, has managed to replace the true image and name of the Messiah. Though it has the true image of the name of the Messiah of the Bible. Here, come on. So once again, if Yahushua and our ancestors of the scriptures didn't celebrate this day, why should we? This is an article going into in Holland, Santa doesn't have elves, he has slaves. The races of Christmas time tradition Dutch people have begun fighting about. And there's photos there of blackface. This is in Dutch. Blackface. Another blackface. Another one. And that one. Blackface is the practice of non-black performers using burnt cork or theoretical makeup to portray a caricature of black people on stage or in entertainment. There's an old photo of it, an advertisement of it. This reproduction of a 1900 William H. West minstrel show poster, originally published by the Strobridge lithographing company, shows the transformation from a person of European descent to a caricature of a dark-skinned person of African descent. So about this, I want to read. Blackface is the practice with non-black performers using, and contributed to the spread of racial stereotypes such as Jim Crow, the happy-go-lucky darky on the plantation, and Sip Coon, also known as the dandified coon. In Holland, Santa, or Sinterklaas, as he's known to the Dutch, doesn't have reindeer. He has a little helper named Zwarte Piet, literally Black Pete, who charms children with pepper Noten cookies and a kooky demeanor by horrifying foreign visitors with his resemblance to Little Black Zambo, a racist book. Zwarte Piet, or his immediate ancestors anyway, was introduced in 1845 in the story Saint Nicholas and His Servant, written in an Amsterdam school teacher by Amsterdam school teacher named Jan Schenkman. At the time, the Dutch Empire spread across 3 continents and included the colonies of Suriname and Indonesia. The Dutch were deeply involved in the slave trade, both transporting African slaves to be sold and using slave labor to work coffee and sugar plantations in their colonies. Minstrel shows were a popular form of entertainment. Colossians 2:8, once again, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of man, after the rudiments of the world, and not after a Mashiach Yahushua. Santa is the devil. There's a photo of it in this movie. They show you. I'm not sure what movie this was. And I'm gonna close out with this. So in this movie, they show you Santa here. I'm not sure what movie this is. And they showed you, even tell you through your face, right? Revelation of the Method. They have a scene where these kids, show whatever this is, whatever movie this is. They say, they play it as a joke, and then Santa ends up laughing about it, and then they change the signs. They rearrange the words there, where they're holding, each one's holding the letter to Santa, and correct it and put here they put Santa, as you see there, but so there it says Santa, but then before that, you go into the scene. It says Satan. It says, "We love you." The sign. I'm just saying what it says. I'm not saying that it's supposed. There's put, "Oh, we love you," and then the rest. Satan's Santa. So they put on their sign. I'm just saying what they put on their sign. So with that, that's the point. We went pretty in depth with it, thanks to the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemeshai. So with that, shalom. Hopefully this edifying and the bar to bar.